Timbaland's secret obsession with Aaliyah exposed. Missy's silence, R. Kelly's scandal, and the mystery before her death. When it comes to the late Aaliyah Dana Houghton, the world has always been fascinated by the music, the beauty, and the mystery surrounding her life and untimely death. But in recent years, shocking confessions and resurfaced interviews have reignited conversations about what was really going on behind the scenes, including Timbaland's own admission that he was in love with Aaliyah when she was still a teenager, his claim that he married his wife because she resembled her, and the fact that Aaliyah wasn't speaking to him or Missy Elliott before she died. Add to that the tangled web of other powerful men allegedly pursuing her, R. Kelly, Jay-Z, Dame Dash, and the suspicious details around her death, and you have a story that is equal parts tragedy, scandal, and unanswered questions. This is the story the public can't stop talking about, and the one some in the industry would rather keep buried. Timbaland's shocking confession. In an old interview that has since gone viral, Timbaland admitted something that left many fans stunned. He had been in love with Aaliyah when they first met, even though she was just a teenager and he was a grown man. "I was in love with her," Timbaland said, recalling his internal battle. "But I'm not. She's just a baby. I'm old. I'm just going to be her brother." It's a statement that on the surface sounds like self-restraint, but for many, it raised red flags. Timbaland met Aaliyah during the recording of her sophomore album, One in a Million, in 1996. She was 16 at the time. He was 23. The shock didn't stop there. Timbaland later admitted that when he met his wife, Monique Idlet, he instantly knew he would marry her because she looked like Aaliyah. In his own words, "When I first met my wife, I knew I was going to marry her because she looked like Aaliyah." For some fans, this was unsettling. It seemed to confirm that Aaliyah had left a permanent and deeply personal mark on Timbaland's romantic preferences, one that blurred the line between admiration and obsession. The fallout. With Missy Elliott and Timbaland before her death in August 2001, Aaliyah was reportedly not on speaking terms with either Timbaland or Missy Elliott, two people who had been central to her success. Timbaland himself admitted, "Unfortunately, we weren't talking when she passed. She wasn't talking to me, and I think her and Missy fell out as well." While neither Missy nor Timbaland have ever publicly explained the cause of the fallout, speculation has run wild. Some believe Aaliyah may have become uncomfortable with Timbaland's feelings for her. Others suggest disagreements over her career path or personal relationships. What makes the silence even more suspicious for fans is that Missy and Timbaland have often spoken glowingly about Aaliyah's talent and spirit. But when it comes to those final weeks, they remain vague. Aaliyah's final days and the Rock the Boat shoot. On August 22, 2001, Aaliyah flew to Miami to film dance sequences for the Rock the Boat music video, directed by Hype Williams. Then, at the last minute, the production location was changed to the Bahamas. This decision has always raised eyebrows. Miami had everything they needed, so why suddenly relocate to the Bahamas? To this day, no one has provided a clear explanation. In the weeks before that fatal trip, Aaliyah was said to be distancing herself from certain people in her circle, including Missy and Timbaland. By the time she boarded that small plane in the Bahamas to return to the U.S., she was traveling with a team of people, but not those who had been with her during her earlier career peaks. R. Kelly, the most controversial chapter. Long before Timbaland entered the picture, Aaliyah's career and life was marked by her association with R. Kelly. He produced her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, but their working relationship became overshadowed by explosive allegations. R. Kelly was accused of engaging in an inappropriate relationship with Aaliyah when she was underage, allegedly marrying her after forging documents to change her age to 18. Reports claim the marriage was arranged in part so that Aaliyah could not be compelled to testify against him in court. Barry Hankerson, Aaliyah's uncle and then manager, later suggested that Aaliyah's mother may have been aware of what was happening. "Yes, I think my sister knew a lot more than what we thought she knew," Barry said in an interview. The allegations became even more disturbing when Lisa Van Allen, a former associate of R. Kelly, claimed that R. Kelly also had a sexual relationship with Aaliyah's mother while staying at their home. When Aaliyah would go to sleep, he would go in the living room, and him and her mother would do acts on the couch, Van Allen alleged. Whether or not all of these claims are true, they paint a disturbing picture of an environment where young Aaliyah was surrounded by older men who seemed to exploit her talent and innocence. Barry Hankerson, Blackground Records, and the $90 million question. As the head of Blackground Records, Barry Hankerson controlled much of Aaliyah's career. But just days before her death, he reportedly signed a liability agreement stating that if anything happened to her, Blackground would not be held responsible. When Aaliyah died, Barry allegedly received $90 million. Adding to the suspicion, there were rumors that Aaliyah had planned to leave Blackground after releasing her third album. For some fans, the timing of these events has always felt too coincidental. Jay-Z, Dame Dash, and the love triangle. If Aaliyah's professional life was complicated, her personal life was even more tangled, at least in the eyes of the public. Multiple accounts suggest that Jay-Z pursued Aaliyah at one point, even while his friend Dame Dash was interested in her. One partygoer told the Daily Mail, Jay-Z was all over Aaliyah. They were hugging, and you could totally see there was chemistry. I knew Dame was going out with her, so I thought it was a little weird. Dame Dash later confirmed that Jay-Z had indeed tried to get close to Aaliyah. He tried very hard. Everybody was trying to get to Aaliyah. It was not just Jay. Dash would go on to date Aaliyah until her death, but the tension with Jay-Z never fully went away, especially after Jay-Z chose to collaborate with R. Kelly on the Best of Both Worlds album in 2002. Despite knowing what R. Kelly had allegedly done to Aaliyah, why the rift may have happened. When you connect the dots, it's easy to see why Aaliyah might have pulled away from Timbaland and others before her death. By her early 20s, she had already endured an alleged illegal marriage to R. Kelly, reports of her mother's involvement with the same man, industry figures competing for her romantically, a powerful uncle allegedly prioritizing business over her well-being. In that context, Timbaland's admitted feelings, however restrained he claims they were, might have been yet another burden for her to navigate. The silence of Missy and Timbaland. Even after 2 decades, Missy Elliott and Timbaland have never fully addressed why they weren't speaking to Aaliyah before her death. They often post tributes, share memories of her kindness and talent, and emphasize the family vibe they had. But that one missing piece of the story remains locked away. Fans still comment on Missy's social media posts, urging her to reveal what really happened. The prevailing theory among some followers is that both Missy and Timbaland know more than they're saying. Not necessarily about her death itself, but about the relationships and tensions leading up to it. Theories that won't die. Even today, the internet is filled with speculation about Aaliyah's final days. Some believe her death in a plane crash was a tragic accident caused by an overloaded aircraft and an unlicensed pilot. Others think there were deeper, more sinister forces at play, whether business disputes, personal conflicts, or calculated moves to control her music and image. The fact that Aaliyah was reportedly unhappy with certain people in her circle before her death, coupled with last-minute changes to the Rock the Boat shoot location and the unusual liability agreement signed just days before, has kept conspiracy theories alive. A legacy. Overshadowed by questions, Aaliyah's career was brief but iconic. She influenced music, fashion, and film in ways that still resonate. She was poised for even greater success, with more albums, more movies, and more time to define herself outside the control of others. Yet, because of the secrecy and silence surrounding her personal relationships and the circumstances of her death, her story remains incomplete. Conclusion: the truth still hangs in the air. Timbaland's confession that he was in love with Aaliyah and that he married his wife because she looked like her has added an uncomfortable layer to the narrative. Whether his feelings played a role in their fallout, and whether Missy Elliott is protecting that truth or another entirely, remains unknown. What is clear is that Aaliyah was a young woman navigating an industry filled with predatory behavior, power struggles, and personal betrayals. And while her music continues to inspire, the unanswered questions about her life and the people in it ensure that her story will always be more than just the songs she left behind. Until those closest to her decide to speak openly, fans are left to piece together the fragments, connect the dots, and wonder what really happened between Aaliyah, Timbaland, and Missy Elliott in those final days. And could the truth ever come out without rewriting everything we thought we knew about one of music's brightest stars?